All rise. Court is in session. Judge A.G.B. presiding. Today, we will be hearing the case of the prison community versus J.D. DeLay. J.D. DeLay is charged with aiding and abetting Chomos. If you don't know what a Chomo is, it is a PDF file. It is somebody who abuses younger people. I can't say the words on YouTube that accurately describe it, but I'm giving you the best description. So today, we are going to be going through some stuff because it has been brought to my attention that J.D. DeLay may not be allowed to operate the wood chipper anymore after today due to some of his actions and how, I never thought I would say this, he was going soft on Chomos and Chomo protectors. Now, I will start you off in the story. A little while back, we got a post from JD DeLay talking about how he turned down an opportunity with Mr. Beast, and salute to him for that. Not a lot of people would have done that. JD DeLay does have a lot of money, so that is another thing. He's not broke, but still, salute for that. But the issue we're having is that another creator took his place. And while JD DeLay was not okay with himself doing it, he was okay with somebody else doing it. Now, to me, that doesn't seem like maintaining the same standards across the board, especially for something like this. Now, I'm going to present you the evidence and we're going to go through it. So first, I have a video from JD DeLay talking about when he turned down the Mr. Beast video. Let's go ahead and peep this right now. Let me get you proper right there. Boom.
Hey, so a few months ago, when I told y'all that I got offered $500,000 to do an episode of Mr. Beast, and I turned it down, and some of y'all were like, "Yeah, right, there's no way." This is the episode I was talking about. That's the $500,000 I was talking about, and that's my friend Ian Bick who ended up doing it because I didn't want to. It's not because I would have any problem going back to jail and doing 100 days in lockdown for content. Because Mr. Beast put Delaware, a convicted registered child offender, in content that he made for kids.
Remember that. That's where our issues come in with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast knowingly put a child predator, convicted child predator, into his content for kids, knowing he was a child predator. And that is why JD DeLay turned down the opportunity. Big shout out for that. It kind of seems like the same standard wasn't maintained.
And I don't care how much money or fame is on the line, that shit's just a deal breaker for me.
He doesn't care how much money or fame is on the line, as he shouldn't. But will he for other people?
Me, homie. I say some shit happened to me, you don't got to question if it did or not, homie. My life is weird as fuck, and I get plenty of stories just off the truth. I ain't one of these lying ass bitches on the internet. Hey, so a few months ago,
I'm pretty sure you just took a shot at JD at Jessica Kent. The first thing I want to say, JD, I'm sorry, but you are one of these liars on the internet. So for those of you who don't know, my interactions with JD DeLay started about a year and a half ago, where me and Pino discovered that JD DeLay, along with Jumpsuit Pablo and several others of your favorite current creators, were making YouTube shorts and making fake videos. Case in point, I'll use a great example. JD DeLay had this video of this guy who was burning, and he comes on and he talks about, they're burning this child molester. Turns out the video had nothing to do with that. He had taken a random video and made up a story to go with it. So based on that, and this had been repeating itself quite a bit, me and Pino went at JD DeLay, we went at Jumpsuit Pablo, we went at that whole little crew, Jessica Kent and all them at the time. We called them out for making obviously fake stories. We brought on a bunch of journalists, because I work with a bunch of journalists. We went through, what like good journalism is, what you could get sued for, how they could get in trouble for this stuff. And they basically, most of them stopped it. We scared them off because we had it revealed to everybody how untrue the things they were saying are. So not these two, but him, JD DeLay, although I do like him, has a history of lying on the internet. It's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. He hasn't lied so much recently, though. I will give him that. He has gotten better, but I don't think he would have changed if we didn't call him out. I just think he knows now if me or Pino or any of us finds out about this, it's going to be all over and more people are going to see that you lied than ever before. So I think that's it. But now I'm going to bring us to the case in point right here. Let me share screen right here. So this is a interview that JD DeLay does with Ian Bick. Now, Ian Bick is the person who took JD DeLay's spot at the Mr. Beast episode. I don't know Ian very well, but from what I know, he's another famous prison creator. He's not like your typical hard guy or anything like that. Like, I don't really think he ever meant to be a criminal. He just sort of ended up there and didn't realize it, was the best way I would describe it. Was like, obviously he was a criminal. He did prison time, but like, I mean, you can go look into the guy. He's kind of soft. He's just like a nice person, goes about his day like that. So we're going to go through it here and we're going to see the type of standards JD DeLay maintains. Now, for me, when we're going up against child predators, this isn't just the people in the prison thing need to do this. Everybody in society needs to be going at child predators. And I know JD DeLay agrees with that. You know, because he supports people like a Gideon or people like that who go after child predators. JD DeLay realizes that this isn't just a prisoner's effort, that this needs to be a group effort by everybody, including people like me. I may be big in the prison community. For those of you who don't know, I've never been to prison. I was what you call a successful criminal. I never got caught. The reason I know so much about prison, especially here, is because I do prisoner advocacy. Most of a lot of my friends have been down for bodies and stuff like that. Like, I live the life a lot of these YouTube creators pretend to live and never really have. But we're going to go through this. But the thing we say to say that is, it's an all-stage effort from people like me, from people like JD, people on the inside to go after sex offenders. And everybody needs to make sure that that's not okay. Now, let's leave the case in point. Mr. Beast brought up a Chomo, a PDF file, knowingly onto his show and had him there for quite a while and tried to hide it. And this is a show that primarily focuses on kids. Just keep that in mind. Let's watch. We're not going to watch the full interview. We're going to watch the important part at the beginning where they cope. We are going to present the evidence in court today. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. How's it going tonight? We are sitting here with my good friend, Ian Bick. You might know him from his podcast, Locked In with Ian Bick. And he has just gotten done with an adventure. He's actually the very first legitimate prison creator to go on a Mr. Beast challenge, and it was a solitary confinement challenge from what I am to understand. I actually got approached about doing this and I had a moral issue with it. We're going to get into that more, but Ian, not only did he go, but it sounds like Ian won. Ian, welcome. Glad to have you here with us today, buddy.
Hey, JD, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again. And I'm glad you got the first exclusive interview post Mr. Beast video, because this will come out, once the video drops.
Well, I expected the first interview after this because after I got off house arrest, I gave you my very first interview ever. And that shit went bananas, bro, because you human trafficked me and forced me to not wear a shirt. And I get asked every time you re-release those clips. To this day, I get asked every time, why isn't this dude with the weird nipples wearing a shirt? Doesn't he own a shirt? I own a shirt company, my G. But Ian specifically told me, bro, you can't wear a shirt because it's your brand is not wearing a shirt. I'm like, I live in Florida and we're in New York. And it's like,
I'm going to make the story a lot shorter for you. What they're not telling you is they knew they would get a lot of comments for people saying he's not wearing a shirt, and it would drive up the algorithm. Because anytime you get a lot of comments, even if they're negative, it puts you in the algorithm.
30 degrees here. So I'm going to let you wear a shirt because I'm a nice guy. Does that sound fair?
It looks so good, though.
It did. My nipples were on fleek that day, bro. I'm glad you had Matt fluff my nipples for me because they looked so good.
No, it was really good. I mean, the background and just titling it Prison Gang Shot Caller.
Oh, thanks, asshole. Now everybody thinks that I said that I'm a prison gang shot caller, even though in the interview I specifically said I hate that term and I don't feel.
He's never specifically said that I can say, but he's alluded to exactly that multiple times.
Like it's applicable. But you did get the views.
Yeah, and the clips go viral every time.
You're a marketing genius. You're really, really good at that shit. It's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about this Mr. Beast thing, because you went in for 100 days, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so in February, they reached out to a bunch of creators. I know they reached out to you. They reached out to pretty much everyone in the prison YouTube, prison TikTok field.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave the initial interview, and I didn't think anything about it until the last week of February when I called you, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going away for 3 months. And they said, you got the green light to go, and hopped on a plane. I had 2 days to go. I got the call on a Thursday, and I went there Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Stayed up all night to edit all the videos to make it look like I was still active here. I had like 70 episodes in the bank. If I didn't have those episodes in the bank, I wouldn't have done the video because I needed to my podcast was the most important thing. And I know that was one of the sticking points for you too, among other things. Like, you can't just abandon your YouTube channel for that long. I couldn't do that either. But luckily I had all these interviews ready to go. So that way we could edit them, post them, publish them. Matt could run the clips, run the social media, and it would look like I never left. So that's why
I already want to say this says a lot about Ian Bick. His biggest concern was making sure his YouTube channel was good, and not that the person he was working with didn't have like a horrible past and a bunch of things that he clearly knows about.
It happened the end of February. I got there March 1st, and we started filming March 2nd, and then I got out June 9th.
So it's cool that you can finally talk about this, because I know one of the things that they wanted for me was they wanted me to sign an NDA before they would even talk to me. And I refused to do that. And they still gave me the interview, which is why I was able to put out a video about turning down Mr. Beast. For me, it was a moral thing because he had put Delaware, who is a convicted child rapist, into his content that is geared towards literal children.
So we just heard that. Now we're starting to see that JD Delay seems to be perfectly okay that Ian Bick did that. Now we're not talking about somebody who maybe he did some bad stuff and maybe you agree, maybe you don't. This is concrete, proven stuff that Mr. Beast did that's taking advantage of kids. Now we have the wood chipper himself here, who very much appears to be going soft on Ian Bick. Now, is he going to press Ian Bick and say, maybe you shouldn't have done that? Why did you do that? What was your moral dilemma? I don't know. Let's see.
And I can't get down like that's a deal breaker for me. So, Ian, did you have any conflict with that? Were you even aware of that situation when they hit you up about that?
No, I mean, I saw like all the scandals that happened last year between like the burgers and then like I didn't even really know much about the Delaware thing. I watch your guys' content, so I saw that.
First of all, he just said, I don't know much about the Delaware thing, but I watch your content, so I saw that. So basically, by the way he's talking, we can tell by his reaction that he knows all about that, but doesn't seem to have any qualms with it. He knew all the stuff that was going on, you know, a creator taking advantage of kids, and he was cool with that. I don't know about you, but that seemed fucked up to me. It seemed like the wood chipper being in front of this man should right now be about to address that and address it hard, right? That's what I'm expecting. That's the standard I'm expecting, and I hold for JD Delay.
And then the other thing with the one of, I think, Tyson or whatever. That
also, Chris Tyson,
yeah,
however you want to address.
But, I mean, it's not, that's not my lane to necessarily look at situations like that or give commentary on it. I didn't know any of the facts or details about the situation at all. Yeah. I just knew that there was people that were working for him that are no longer working for him. And I saw that he had the an external investigation.
Well, that's cap, because he just let it slip earlier than that he had watched JD Delay's videos on this, and JD Delay's videos were very detailed. So if you watched those videos, you knew all this stuff.
Team or whatnot. I saw that all unfold. But other than that, I didn't dive deep into it or look into it.
Well, so your situation is different from my situation. And I understand. And I've actually stood up for you because it leaked on YouTube that you were on Mr. Beast, and a bunch of people were like, yo, JD's going to have a problem with this. No, I'm not. Ian's not the...
How could you not have a problem with it? What kind of dumb answer are you about to get? Look at his fucking coping, brother. I'm sorry, wood chipper fucking canceled, bro. You don't get to hold that position anymore, bro, because this is the type of thing when you want to put yourself as the top guy against Chomos on the internet, and then your friend goes and hangs out and takes money and breaks bread with a Chomo, and then all you do is cope for him. Nah, wood chipper is revoked. The wood chipper, you all heard it here first. The wood chipper is revoked. JD DeLay does not get to put himself as an advocate for this stuff anymore. No, hell no. Hell no.
Dude who was in prison checking people's paperwork to see if they were kitty diddlers and all that shit.
See? This is why I'm the perfect person to address this. Why the fuck does it have to have been, oh, he wasn't in prison addressing all this stuff. He wasn't a tough guy. Why does he need to be a tough guy to be a good guy? Why? Because he wasn't a tough guy in prison, does he not have to be a good, responsible person now? Why is it okay for him to break bread with a child molester? Or someone who supports that? Sorry, YouTube's going to demonetize this. How is that okay? How is the wood chipper sitting here with somebody who just finished breaking bread, with somebody who has people around who abuse children, who's all wrapped up in that, and you're the wood chipper? Put him in the wood chipper. Get out the wood chipper. And you are not pressing this man right now. You're not at least saying, hey, you should have done better. You shouldn't have done that. There's better ways to get money. And another thing, Ian Bick, this is not some broke guy. Ian Bick has money. He has a 400,000 subscriber plus YouTube channel with a successful podcast. My man is probably a millionaire already. And I can tell you, as somebody who's nowhere near a millionaire, who compared to y'all is broke, who's actually been very much poorer than I feel like y'all have ever been, I wouldn't have probably taken that money. What the fuck? Then we got the wood chipper right here. The wood chipper himself, the man who comes on the internet and yells and screams about how, yeah, you gotta go after child molesters and no one can support them and it's a group effort and wood chipper and nipples. But then you are beside a man who just finished breaking bread with a company that Mr. Beast's company that is known to support child predators, and you're sitting here saying, oh, well, you weren't a tough guy in prison, so I don't expect you to be a good person now. Well, you know what? Newsflash, I was never even fucking in prison, and I know enough that fucking this shit is not okay. JD, you had an opportunity here to, instead of sucking dick, to actually be a good friend and stand up to one of your friends. You want to know something? A lot of my friends don't like hanging around me. Because if I find out you're doing something fucked up or immoral, I will tell you. And I will tell you in front of everybody. And I'll call you a fucking loser and a piece of shit. I have a friend who won't hang around with me anymore because he works at a job and he's one of the head guys, makes a fuck ton of money. They take advantage of their workers, and every time I see him, I call him a piece of shit for it. He doesn't like to be around me, but I don't care. I'm just exposing the reality. I'm just telling him, fam, you're a piece of shit. You take advantage of these people. And I'm always do that because the standards I maintain here are the standards I maintain here and are the standards I maintain here. But I guess JD DeLay just doesn't maintain those two standards. We've already heard him earlier talk about how he's not a liar. We know JD DeLay is a liar. JD DeLay is a proven liar in multiple situations. And now, the one thing we really did give him credit for, being the wood chipper operator himself, now we have to take that away. This is fucked up. This is really fucked up. Am I going to sit here and say you need to disown Ian Bick and not be his friend anymore? No, but you need to get his dick out of your mouth. That's what you need to do. His dick is all in and around your mouth right now. For this to start like this, we are talking about children. Children that are being taken advantage of by the biggest child creator in the world, Mr. Beast. And you're just okay with one of your close homies breaking bread with him when you wouldn't break the same bread with him. I don't know what planet you live on where that makes sense. But it don't make sense in the planet I live on. And I know for sure if I acted like that and I went back to my homies, they would have a problem. Because I keep people who keep standards around me. This is fucked up. I could rant for an hour. Wood chipper license revoked. I don't want to hear no wood chipper shit no more.
It was kind of, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to demean your convict prowess here, but you were kind of an accidental criminal. I don't think you fully knew what you were doing was against the law, and I think you were a little bit shocked when federal agents started showing up. So like I completely understood that. And you saw an opportunity and you grabbed it. So let's get into what happened while you were there, because I know that's important to everybody.
You know, it's funny. Speaking about this, I just had a warden on the show who was saying that the Chomos had a shot caller in their own car in one of the prisons he worked in.
Where is that?
I think it was at, I forgot which low. You should interview the guy. It's actually pretty
It's a federal prison?
Federal prison warden, yeah.
That's
he said that
crazy.
they had their own car and the shot caller.
So, you know, when I interviewed Steve Nigg, who is the dude who beat the brakes off of Jared from Subway, he said that the Chomos at the low that he was at, where he beat the brakes off Jared from Subway, the kitty diddler who got caught up with all the CP, he said they had a shot caller there too, and that Jared from Subway had an entourage of other Chomos that he was paying to keep him safe. And as soon as he ran up on him and started just beating his fucking teeth in, those dudes ran and scattered. Because Steve is a big old cracker, dog.
Now, that's pretty funny, and that is a true story. But here's the thing. Just because we don't expect Ian Bick in prison, where he was probably a bitch, dude. Like, he was definitely not the guy. He was not even a guy. He was a nobody. For sure. We can look at him and say that. But that doesn't mean in the free world he gets to have no accountability, because I keep coming back to I've never been a prisoner. I've never done a prison term. But I'm not okay with what he did. This isn't a prison thing. This is a right and wrong thing. And this is the person who is supposed to be the leader against Chomos falling on his face so badly. JD, I expect better from you. I hope you address this. I know you probably never will. I'm not a big enough creator. Maybe me and Pino go address it and get some real eyes on this. Y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comments and if y'all want me and Pino to address this. And I want to know how all of you feel, because to me, this is fucked up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing this wrong. Maybe I'm not reading it right. But to me, the guy who's supposed to be the leader, in at least in the prison community against this stuff, to just sit down with somebody who just broke bread with PDF files, basically, as far as I'm concerned, like just recently, and you don't even press them, you cope for them. One, coping for somebody before you ask a question is horrible interviewing style. You're supposed to try and get a question for them. And second of all, standing up for what you stand up for and not standing on business right now and being like, what the fuck, dog, and at least pressing them and trying to get a deeper answer. Like, you were defending the man before you asked your question. The preludes to your questions, you had to like add in a bunch of cope. You know, Ian wasn't a tough guy. Ian was an accidental criminal. He didn't know, like, none of that is an excuse for being a good person. None of this has to do with being in prison. That's what I'm failing to understand. Now, listen, I'm pissed off about this. I'm not going to keep y'all for too much longer. It's been a little quick one, but I wanted to get this out there. This pissed me off. I went to watch this interview and I was like, all right, like, let me hear something, because JD DeLay is like protecting this guy. I figured it was going to be JD like laying into him, being like, you shouldn't have done that. Here's why it was wrong. Here's like why, you know, maybe Ian didn't understand, and at least make him understand why I didn't do it and the reasoning behind that. But clearly JD, and it's like, for me, I don't expect people to live by my standards in every single facet. But in facets where it's like something like this. My bad. I messed up the recording for a second. My son just rang. But yeah, this is really bothering me. Because a lot of people look to JD DeLay as a leader in this. And like, I would have expected this interview to be him at least trying to make Ian understand why he didn't do it and why morally it's wrong. And instead, this interview was, nah, it's cool for Ian to do it because he wasn't a tough guy. I didn't realize that it was only tough guys that were supposed to stand up against Chomos and PDF files. I think that's how we got to where we are today, because I was of the opinion, I thought you guys were too, that it needs to be all hands on deck. Everybody needs to be responsible. But clearly, JD DeLay doesn't think that. So as far as I'm concerned, his wood chipper license is revoked. We need to find somebody else to take the mantle. That's as far as I'm concerned. But I want to know how all of you feel. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about JD DeLay? Did this change your perception? Or do you already not like JD DeLay? I know it's already mixed with him. I will give him a shout out for all the work he does with Narcan and sober living and that stuff. He does that stuff for real. But when I see something like this and you have a history of lying and making up stories, it just makes me think that you're not the man you proclaim to be on the internet. And I mean, that's okay, but you know, you're going to get called out for it as long as you're putting stuff like that on the internet and I see it. I'm sorry. We're in the same genre. I'm going to call you out 100%. I don't play with people who play with kids, and I maintain that for real. And even though a lot of people may not like to be around me because of it, I maintain my standards for real. Do I fuck up sometimes? Do I make a mistake? Yeah, of course, everyone does. But in a situation like this is not the type of situation where being the top guy, top wood chipper, you're allowed to make a mistake and have any leeway. This is an unacceptable mistake. Unacceptable. Unacceptable that you're supposed to be the leader in this, and this is the type of behavior going along. This is what gets kids abused. I want to ask you, JD, I was abused in every single way except for sexually growing up. So I consider myself a very much abused kid by adults. Were you abused? Would you want that to continue? I don't know. Would you want that to continue for more kids? Because I don't think it's just supposed to be tough guys against this. I think it's a good versus bad problem, not a criminal versus non-criminal problem. But I digress. I want to hear all of your opinions down there. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more coming. Me and Pino going live lots. Join membership over here if you want. Join membership over on his channel. Be honest, 100% the membership over there offers more. So get it over there, unless you really want to support over here. But right now, we going hard over there. I'm going hard over here. Lots of videos coming, lots of shorts. You know, not the video I wanted to be making today. Really not. And it's not that JD Delay had to cut off this person or even hate him, but at least try and make him see why you didn't do it and why it's wrong for a person to do it morally and why it should be wrong for everyone. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Let me know how you feel. But for today, stay blessed, stay great. Help me with suggestions for who should be the new wood chipper operator.